Hey folks, this is Chris with Oregon Figs. It's August 28th, 2022. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about Biffaro Zeus. This is a Nicky variety, an Italian variety, that there's a question mark whether it's a San Pedro variety or not. So I'm going to add my information to the information pool out there at this point, which is small. My tree really grew terribly in the beginning. It was just struggling with FMV, and I put it in ground and it didn't look very good. This year it has just started to kick in gear big time. It's looking a lot better. So this is a fig that Ben B up in Seattle gave information about the Breba crop. It's supposed to have a huge Breba, and this year my tree, which like the year before didn't grow much, so it didn't have a lot of wood for Breba, had 4 Breba, or has 4 Breba on it right now. So if you go in here, you can see one really nice Breba that's ripe and ready to pick. One right there that's not fully colored, and one right down here. And you can tell it's very soft. It's ready to pick. So I have 2 that are ready to pick. Now, if you look at this fig right here, that's a Breba that's ready to pick. And then this is the fig that's a main crop fig. It's already coloring, which is really early in the game for it to be coloring. And there were 2 that were just like this morning that I barely touched and they came off. So we'll just see. This one I haven't experimented with yet. I'm gonna push on it a little bit, and there it goes. So I'm gonna put my early vote in for a San Pedro for Biffaro Zeus. Beautiful figs though. I was really hoping that it would be common, but it's dropping them. And that's the same thing that I've seen happen on the Smyrna varieties. When I try to grow those without the wasp, they'll start to color, and you'll just touch them gently and they'll fall off. They were going to do that on their own. So that's what happened with Raspberry Cream for me, one that I found in Northern California seedling. And that's what happened with Meteorito in many instances. The difference is Meteorito held a couple of figs and sort of looked like it was ripening them. They never looked really properly ripened, in my opinion. If you take a fig like Desert King and you compare it to Biffaro Zeus, which is a known San Pedro, which is down here, Desert King can ripen a few and hold them. So it's a San Pedro, but maybe a little bit better for the occasional fig. So these are main crop on Desert King. I wish I had an example of something coloring. I'm gonna just look around and see if I do. I really don't. But they don't seem to drop as easily as that Biffaro Zeus was dropping. So my early vote, and it's only an early vote at this point, it's a San Pedro. But that little test with the touch is a pretty good and accurate test of whether that tree was going to hold main crop. You know, and that's okay. If it's a San Pedro for me, that's a wonderful thing. If it's just like Desert King and it's really prolific, which it looks like it's going to be. I mean, it's got 4 nice figs on really a small amount of growth. And I have a lot of new growth for next year, so I'll be able to test it even more. But at this point, I'm guessing San Pedro. It's an educated guess, but it's still guessing because it's something that I haven't really worked on for a long period of time. Good news is, though, it's kicked the FMV. It's turning into a nice tree, and we'll see what next year's crop looks like. I am going to do a tasting of this fig today, later in a different video, and I hope you stay tuned for that. And if you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, I'd appreciate it if you subscribe. And if you're into learning more about growing figs in the Pacific Northwest, that's pretty much what I'm about. Thanks for watching.